What is up?
What is up? Hello, everybody. Welcome back. A couple weeks off here, but we're back and better than ever, ready for another fun episode of the Northeast Racing Happy Hour. I'm Andy Crane. More on the other side, and partner, happy National Margarita Day. Did
Uh,
you know that was a day?
I did not know that was a day. I see your thing there. I was
Listen,
news to me.
It is Margarita Day, National Margarita Day. We got our buddy Snoop over at the house tonight. He's making dinner with us, and we're gonna have some shrimp tacos and margaritas as soon as we're done talking
Okay.
to a young gun that has a couple years before he can have his first margarita
Okay.
in Evan Rygielski. So
Did you have to do research on that or is this
uh,
something you know and you look forward to?
little of both. How about that?
Okay.
We were talking about it for the golf course of doing like a margarita night.
Okay.
And we looked up when National Margarita Night is, and I'll be damned, it's February 22nd. So
That's it.
we're going to have some margaritas and shrimp tacos and pico de gallo, I think he's making back there, and all kinds of good stuff.
Damn.
So, so happy National Margarita Day, everybody.
Okay.
Presented by whatever your favorite tequila is. So, partner, the Daytona 500, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. hangs on in a wild finish. It was the longest Daytona 500 in history because of all the cautions there at the end. Kind of, it's typical Daytona of what we expected there at the end. I'm not really a conspiracy theorist or anything, but it almost looked like Joey Logano was ahead when that yellow light came out. I'm not the biggest Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fan. I got nothing against him, but not the biggest fan in the world. But he gets the job done. More happy for the team. JTG Doherty has been around for a long time, and to get a win like that in the Daytona 500 is pretty big. I thought it was a decent race for what I watched. I had to work while it was going on, but what do you think? What'd you think the race?
I thought it was all right. I mean, I kind of like Stenhouse myself. I just hate the way these super speedways end every year. It's always the same thing. It's high speed freight train racing, and then it's last 10 laps, and then it's full on racing. Then everybody wrecks each other. They gotta, I don't know. They gotta figure out something and come up with a different way to end these races, or let them. I hate the caution deal too. The white flag ends the race. I hate that. That's one thing I do hate.
It's one of those deals. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't, kind of thing. You can't let them. You can't let them eat and have stock cars doing 220 miles an hour.
I get that.
The one thing I did like about the new car, as the teams are kind of figuring the things out, is you saw bigger runs. Guys could kind of get away from one another a little bit. It created a little more of an exciting type of finish. But again, you said it. The same thing happens. One guy makes a mistake, and 15 guys pay for it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And I believe it or not, I couldn't believe what I was thinking. I was actually kind of pulling for Kyle Busch. I thought he drove a great race. He recovered after that speeding penalty, and damn, I thought he was going to win the damn thing.
Stenhouse too. Stenhouse had a speeding penalty. He overcame that, and I mean he wasn't really up front until the end. Again, you lead that only lap that matters. He led it.
It was that's always the only lap that matters, right? Xfinity race, Austin Hill took the win. It took them forever to figure it out. Again, you look at pictures. It did not look like Austin Hill was ahead when the caution came out.
What strikes me is how long it takes for them to throw the caution. If you look at when the incident happens, and then when the lights come on, it's pretty drastic.
And I get, listen, it's a 2.5 mile super speedway, and the reaction time. I mean, they're not NHRA drag racers. The reaction time is going to be, call a caution, hit the button, wave the flag. I get all that, but I agree. I think the same thing. That it did take a little while for both of them to kind of have the caution come on, to where again could have been Joey Logano, who's speaking of which. What the hell up is Joey Logano's hair?
He has alopecia.
he got.
So I think it's that's
I
probably
thought it was
like a toupee or. But he's losing his hair.
So the thing was, I thought it was like a joke, and he had a wig on.
Well,
and
he probably does.
I did not realize that was like the look Joey Logano's going with.
Well, yeah, he probably has no choice because of the hair falling out, So yeah, I saw on Facebook people like the official Joey Logano little hair piece.
That's
ruthless.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. But anyway, I digress. I swear I haven't had margaritas before this to get off tangent here. But talk real quick, rain shortened. We had the local flavor of Stuart Friesen in it. Stewie kind of made a mistake. Kind of making the block there on Ben Rhodes and cost him a good finish. Race ended under rain. It seemed to be the only rain, at least that the super speedway was affected by. Zane Smith takes the win, and we move on. We go to the next race.
We're at Fontana this week, right? California.
Or
Vegas.
Vegas.
No, is it?
I think it's Vegas. I don't know. After Daytona, does it really matter?
Yeah, you're right.
In all seriousness, we're looking. The next thing we're worried about is Hagerstown. I mean, that's seriously the deal. Short tracks were up and running. We're going to talk to a driver who did a great job of the short tracks, the World Series of Stock Car Racing at New Smyrna, and of course Volusia and East Bay. First, the sad thing is hearing East Bay Raceway is going to close. That always sucks to hear any racetracks close. And I thought there was pretty good racing there with the late models, with the highlights I saw. Trying to think real quick. Tim McCready had a great week. He won a couple big races, finished second in another one. So good to see T-Mac doing really well. Matt Williamson seemed to be the guy down there for a lot of it. How about Jack Lehner, who's on our show just a couple weeks ago, came, damn it, just so close to getting that first big win.
Split-second decision of where to go on the racetrack, and it's what it was, man. And that's what decided it.
I'll tell you this. I was already a big Jack Lehner fan to begin with, right? How he came out and said, listen, I made the mistake. I tucked behind the lap car. It wasn't anybody else's fault. I take ownership of it.
Yep.
That kid is wise beyond his years as a race car driver. And, to come out and publicly declare it was my mistake. This is not even a mistake. He made the decision to stay behind the lap car, and Matt got him. Matt Williamson got around him. So good for him for coming out and doing that. He's going to win a bunch of races. We know that. Yeah. And it seems like anybody that comes on the Northeast Racing Happy Hour seems to do really, really well. So for all you other drivers out there, Justin, you might want to get on the guest list, because how about Matt Hirschman, who seemed to go on a tear as he always does at New Smyrna. And, he had a great race. Ronnie Silk won the NASCAR Wheel and Modified race. Great race between him and Justin Bonsignor. So much race going on. How about No Panic Davey Franick having a great couple runs down there.
Yeah,
so,
he's been on fire.
So much racing going on down in Florida. It was awesome to see that race season really kicked off. It was like 60 degrees. It felt like mid-race season here the last couple of weeks. I mean, the golf course was up and buzzing here at Turtle Creek. So it was awesome to see. And race season's now official underway.
It's going. And Lincoln Speedway moved their opener up until tomorrow, I think I saw. Supposed to be really nice down there. I thought that was kind of wow.
Listen, those Central Pennsylvania guys and girls, they're crazy. They race as late into the winter as they can, and they start as early as they can. And it's a special breed to be one of those sprint car drivers. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was thinking there. But the weather's supposed to be nice tomorrow, so it's a win for them.
So race. Go ahead and race. Well, partner, let's talk to a kid that did some racing here over the last week and a half down in Florida, down at New Smyrna Speedway, the World Series of Stock Car Racing, which added the 602 Sportsman Modifieds, which are basically sportsman modifieds, like the dirt modifieds, the pavement variety. And I got a couple bones actually to pick with this kid, because I remember talking to him way back when he was a Bandolero superstar at the Bethel Motor Speedway, saying, I'm not a modified driver. Well, the kid seems to be pretty damn good in an open wheel modified. So let's bring in Evan Rygielski and talk to him about.
I just want to show the people what 1/1000th of a second looks like. So just, in case people missed it.
Here's Rygielski, good restart, fires nicely. How high does the Catalano car take him? Down in 1 and 2. That may determine who ends up winning this race. Good run for both into 1 and 2.
Trevor Catalano putting the power down. He's got the nose out in front, down the backstretch. Can he clear Rygielski down into turn 3? Rygielski not wanting to give it up without a fight. He's going to try to hang tough to the outside there. White flag up. Catalano leads by just inches at the stripe. Again, 6/1000ths of a second. The difference at the white flag there, side by side down the backstretch. Here comes Lee Sharpstein. Could we have a 3-wide battle for the win? Here we come off of turn 4. Who's it going to be at the stripe? Trevor Catalano will go to victory lane.
That is by 1/1000th of a second by timing and scoring.
Now that was close. and they didn't touch.
They did, and I was just about to say, we were talking to Evan before the show that they ran clean, did not touch at all. And listen, the future of motorsports on the local level and hopefully on the national level for some of the kids, so good. The Catalano kid, Amy and all those guys. I'm drawing a blank. Tommy and Timmy, those guys that race already on the Wheel and Modified Tour. There's another Catalano coming. Luke Baldwin, who won a couple races. Tommy Baldwin's kid, who comes from great pedigree in open wheel modified racing. And then of course you got this young man, Evan Rygielski, who did an awesome job down there. The future is bright in open wheel modified racing, both on dirt and definitely on pavement, as we saw down there. And all right, let's bring him on. Let's talk about it and see if he's over the sting yet of 1/1000th of a second.
What's up, Evan?
Evan, did it hurt to just see that?
A little bit. It tore a little more of my soul out, but you really can't complain about it. Nice, clean race and no touching. We have a lot of respect for each other and our equipment that we're racing and we're given here, so can't complain.
Now, before we get going, I said I got a bone to pick with you. I remember talking to you when you made the jump from Bandoleros into stock cars, and I believe somebody told me, I'm not a modified driver. That's my cousin Brian. You seem to be pretty damn good in a modified, kid. So how about let's retract that and say you are a modified driver.
Well, my views changed, I guess you could kind of say. As soon as you hop on one of those things, it's like a whole nother feel. It's like you're addicted to racing all over again, but they're a blast to drive. You'll feel nothing like it.
So tell us a little bit about the World Series. First, just the preparation going into it. It's one of the bigger events of the season, and it's kind of like Daytona for short track racing, that one of the bigger type events starts the season that you get all winter to prepare for it. And then, of course, we'll go into the week that you raced.
It takes a lot of preparation because you got to go over the car, get everything ready because you're going down there to compete against the best and the best down there. You want to make sure your car is on the money. You want to nut and bolt it every day. Get this set up on the point. Make sure you have all the spare parts, bumpers, you name it. What you need to go down there, you need to have it ready. It's a good solid 3 weeks of working in the garage every night just to get the car ready and prepared to go down there. But once we get down there, get parked. It all starts setting in the work that you've done to get down there. The first night it was a good night. We qualified third, ended up starting third, got out to the lead by lap 2 or 3. Just kind of set sail, just maintained my pace until the caution came out, coming to the checkered when James Blewett spun coming down across the finish line. They threw it before we got into turn 3, so kind of set us up for a last lap restart, and me and Trevor, we've raced for 2-3 years now between the Super Stock and the 602 and the Sport Mods. We have a lot of respect for each other, so we race each other clean to the line. That's all I can ask for between him. Good hard racing. There's nothing more you can ask. The second night, we adjusted a little bit. Got the car a little bit better, but by the time feature rolled around, we had it good. We started, I believe it was sixth, somewhere around there. Got trapped behind the car in the first 5 laps, and then driver made a mistake under caution, running over that juice cone a little bit, sending us to the Taylor 30 car field, and within 10 laps to go,
I wasn't going to bring that. I wasn't going to bring that one up, but I'm glad you did.
Hey, you can't just tell them the good stuff.
Okay.
Made our way back up to 14th out of 31 cars. So the next night the car was off a little bit. We ran the same set of tires the first 3 nights, so it kind of hurt us. They only allowed us 8 tires, so it kind of hurt us the first 3 nights. But we managed to limp the third night back into, I believe it was a 6th place finish. Practice didn't go too good that night. Qualified 12th, which wasn't the best for our circumstance, but we thought we managed to limp our way into the final 4 for the points, but they had us at 5th, which we thought going into the final night we were in top 4, so we were racing for a championship. We qualified 12th for the 4th night. We started 12th. We kind of rode around for a little bit, let everyone do their thing. We maneuvered our way up to 4th by lap 25 or so. Kind of just work around it. Just settled in for a little bit. Saved my equipment till like the last 25 laps, and then the car just wasn't there enough. They were battling real hard out front. I was really hoping they'll take each other out or something, give me an opportunity to go for it, but it didn't happen. I mean, you can't complain. It was a solid week. We came home with only 1 bumper that we changed. Looking after some of the other cars that came home in boxes, you can't really complain after the week we had.
Absolutely.
Now, Evan, what's it like? We know on the dirt side of things that guys run night after night after night after night, but it's kind of a unique thing for the pavement side to where, for these pavement modifieds, you usually run once, maybe twice a week and have some time in between. But for the World Series, it's best way I could describe it for people that don't understand it. It's like Dirt Week, where you're racing every single week or every single night, excuse me. Different mindset, different. Tell us a little bit about the thrash that goes on to just run the World Series itself.
I mean, just to keep the car maintained during the week, it's like you're there after the track, you're there afterward, just starting to get the car ready for the next day. Even though it might not be a good day, that day you're still there working on it, getting it ready for the next day. As soon as you get to the track, you're unloading, you're going through the car, nut and bolting it, make sure it has fuel. Just making sure everything is kosher for that night of racing. You will have to change your oil depending on how many races you do. All that fun stuff just to keep racing down there. It's a lot of strain on your crew too, trying to keep everything up.
Man,
yeah,
what's it like?
That's got to be the biggest thing, trying to get guys to travel down, take that time off of work at that time.
Yeah, we had me, my dad, Brian's dad, Brian, and my girlfriend's dad helping us. So it was a lot between all of us to keep 2 cars going. So it's hard to find. We're working with what we got down here. See some of these guys, they show up with 10, 12 guys, and you're wondering how they do it. And but we managed to do what we had, and we made the best out of it.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, what was the experience like when you first got there? I know, like at some racetracks that big events that I've gone to, it was like that eye-opening experience. For you getting there for the World Series, all these big names, the NASCAR modified tour in town, all these big super late model guys, you're at the World Series at New Smyrna. For a young kid, listen, you got a lot of experience. You've been racing for a long time still, but for these first time experiences, tell the audience, what was that like, when you finally walked through the gate at New Smyrna Speedway?
Wednesday morning when we pulled in with the trailer, we saw that there was 200 plus trailers lined up just to get in the track. It was like, whoa, this is the big leagues now. You're looking at all these haulers that look like NASCAR haulers, the wheel and tour guys, super late model guys. And as soon as you step in, the nerves start setting in like, wow, we are on the big stage now. It's like a NASCAR race when you pull in there, you know. You got a lot of people watching on Flow Racing in the stands all over the place, especially it being Speed Weeks over at Daytona there too. You got a lot of people watching. So as soon as you step in, it's like, whoa. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Now, Evan, you've kind of made a name for yourself now, the closest finish ever in 602 modified history. I don't know if the closest ever in World Series history. It has to be right up there. But as mentioned, you've been racing for a while. Tell everybody a little bit of background of your racing career, where you got started, how you got started, and what led you up to now being a modified guy, which, again, I remind you, I was told you weren't a modified guy at one point.
We started out in a micro, which is quarter-inch style racing. It's a little bit different motor package and different chassis. We started up at Southern Tier Micro Club in Owego, New York. We raced the Nisma Tour with our two style cars. Then we moved up to the Bandolero. We raced all through New York, Bethel, Chemung, Evans Mills once or twice, Evergreen. A lot of my wins came at Bethel and the Bandolero, and between Chemung and Bethel at the Bandolero. Then we moved up to the 4-cylinder just to get me a little more experience in a full-size car and get the feel for it. And then we would jump right into street stock and super stock, race a little bit Evergreen with our street stock. And we did the ROC Tour. We had some good success with both cars, winning once at Evergreen in the street stock, and then once with the super stock at the National Parts Pedal Authority at Lake Erie, which is one of my proudest wins. It's a big one to win. My car owner, Jim Lamoureux, he tried for 50 years, and to finally get that win for him as a car owner is pretty special. And then now he moved up to a Asphalt 602 Sportsman and a Sport Modified.
Now, is the plan to still do some fender stuff, or are you really, really a full-time modified guy, which I'm going to remind you of for your entire career, by the way?
We're thinking this is the last year for the super stock until you make the transition to full-time open wheel racing, but we'll see what we can do this year. Hopefully run a few select races, a couple times at Chemung, a couple times race champions tour, and then obviously Oswego at the Dave Leonard Memorial. That's a big one. Finishing second 2 times is crazy enough, but we got to move one more position up Oswego and finally stamp our name there.
And Oswego is another one of those bucket list racetracks. Of course, the dirt modified fans know it from Super Dirt Week, but it's really one of the, and I'll say premier pavement tracks that have a lot of history to it. Describe that race. Describe the steel palette without dirt on it for all our dirt modified fans out there.
It's fast. It's got a lot of character to it. It's got a lot of bumps that you got to try to avoid. It's not much banking. You're not really using brake. If you're using brake there, you're doing something wrong. You're going to go backwards in a hurry when you're on asphalt. But it's got a lot of character. It's fast. You gotta really drive the place to get up front. I mean, in super stock, especially, the car's like a boat. You're all over the place in that thing. You're trying to hang on tight. But it is one of the fastest tracks you'll ever race on asphalt.
And Evan,
what are the plans for 20? Oh,
I just had to ask that. How old are you?
15.
15. Yeah.
So as I said, partner, a lot of years before he can have his first margarita, which is National Margarita Day, by the way. Just throwing that out there. And what are the plans for 2023? You talked a little bit about the super stock off you're going to run, but where are we going to see you run this year?
We'll start off Mahoning with the 602, and then we'll do the Evergreen Mahoning deal, and then depending on how that goes at Mahoning, we'll do their little series they got just at Mahoning at 602, and then we'll be running for the championship at Evergreen with the 602 also. And then obviously at the super stock, we'll do a couple races at Chemung and try to get to the race champions as much as we could, and then do the Dave Leonard Memorial, which is the biggest race of the year for us with the super stock. And then we're still trying to work out a deal with our sport mod, the Elmira Heat Treating Young's Racing owned. Hopefully run a couple of race champion sport mod races with that throughout the year. And then obviously hopefully run the XMR Sportsman event, which is right after the Dave Lennon Memorial out of Oswego Labor Day weekend. They've been trying to put that race on for 2 years now, but tire shortage has canceled it for the last 2 years. So this will be the third attempt at trying to put it on this year.
Damn.
Hey, third time's a charm always, right?
Yep, and all that wouldn't be possible without my amazing sponsors, to be honest with you. It's with the tire costs going up, fuel costs going up. It's hard to find people that want to support the local guys and get them going. John Bowen over at Sublimited supplying with my suit. Just great company. You need any racing suit, crew shirts, uniforms, anything you need that deals with racing, you go over to him and he will get you sized up. You'll feel most comfortable suit you'll ever be in. Elmira Heat Treating, Double Lot Performance Services, Gary and Rhiannon at Double Lot. They own the 602 Sport. They own 602 car right now. I can't thank them enough for even giving me the opportunity, because I wouldn't even be going to Florida without them, because they're letting me drive their car for them. So I can't thank them enough. B&E Motors, Lamborghini Auto, Amsoil Racing, Dean Ripkema and Tyler Ripkema over at Northeast Drilling, Caden Rogers at KR Motorsports, Joe Dirt Motorsports.
So how do you you're driving for all these people? You're 15 years old. How did some of this stuff come about? Is it family, friends, or how'd you get hooked up with some of this stuff?
Gary, I met when I was driving microds still, and he saw how I drove in the microds, and he's liked me ever since. And when it was finally time for me to get in a modified, he supplied me with the ride, and we did a race at Evergreen. We finished 4th at Evergreen our first time, and then the next year we went down to Florida for our first time. We had a real good run that year. Finished third, and a DNF the last night, going for the win. But a lot of the stuff is just making connections when you're young and talking to the right people. Like Terry Young's at Elmira Heat Treating. We do all their cars. We do all their bodies, their Nerf bars, all their modified stuff for them. And he sees me racing at Chemong. He likes me. He just finally let me hop into one of their sport mods last year. We qualified 3rd at the Race Champions, our first Race Champions event at Race Champions weekend with the sport mod. We were running like 6th, ended up spinning out, but still finished 17th. So, but it's a lot making these connections. It's all about making these connections when you're young and talking to the right people.
Partner, this kid says when he's young, he's 15.
Yeah, well,
he's 15 freaking years old.
I'm saying at 15 years old, he's well spoken. I mean, this is somebody I would want racing for me. Absolutely, 100%.
Hey, don't give my ride away yet.
I also forgot to mention one more sponsor, Hammer Graphics. They do all our graphic work for us. If you need anything, truck wraps, commercial vehicle wraps, you contact Scott Adams at Hammer Graphics. He'll do it for you.
He's got it.
And you see those guys doing a lot of stuff. The Hammer people doing a great job making cars look sharp for sure. Talk a little bit, Evan, about the family dynamic. As we've known each other from the Bethel Motor Speedway. You have a cousin that races. We affectionately called him the blue-haired bandit because he would dye his hair blue every year, every summer. But to go out and race with your cousin now, definitely race. Starting in Nebraska, Bandolera, and now you both are in the modifieds. Tell us a little bit about that. We know racing's a family sport, so tell us a little bit about the rygielski, Thanksgiving dinner table talk, how you guys race together.
Me and Brian have been racing since we were in microds. We've been racing each other since we were 5. We always, we're always competitive with each other. Nice, clean racing. We always have a good time when we could get out of the car and still talk to each other and be friends. It's a good day at the racetrack still. But we have our fair shares of run-ins, but we always resolve them there at the track and we keep it clean with each other. It's always fun racing with someone that especially when it's a cousin and we've known him since he was born. But it's a lot. We're always in the garage working with each other, working on each other's cars during the summer when it's just me and him in the garage, always sharing feedback on different tracks that we go to and how the car is handling at the racetrack, all that fun stuff.
So, Evan, being 15 years old, already wealth of experience behind you, where do you want to go? What do you want to do in this sport? Where's your final destination, pie in the sky? What are you working towards? Let's ask you that.
Biggest goal is just trying to get into NASCAR in general. The Wheel and Tour is a great goal. You're racing against guys of years of experience in that Wheel and Tour. You're racing against Matt Hirschman, Ron Silk, just to name a couple. But the main goal is just to get into one of the top 3 NASCAR teams. Truck Series, Xfinity Series, Cup Series, wherever I can go. My goal in racing is just try to make it as far as I can, and just try to make it there, make it worth it.
Well, I mean, we have homegrown. I mean, look at Christian Eckes. He started out pretty much the same pathway, and he's doing okay in the Truck Series, back full time again this year. So, hey, the opportunity is there for you.
Yeah, just got to find the right people to back you, and,
That's right.
and get some more funds going, get your name out there, like going down to Florida and getting your name out there. You're getting the right exposure by going on Flow Racing or racing down there.
Yep, absolutely. But as you said, keep
name
the
for yourself
funds. That's the problem now. Nowadays, NASCAR is all about daddy's money. Unfortunately, it's how much money can you bring to the table?
Right. That's what it's all. That's what we always say. We're gonna try to make the most out of it. Just try to get the right people to back us and try to make it to those top series.
Yep.
Listen, you can still make it there in talent. Look at Ryan Preece, who races an open wheel modified, right? So it can be done for sure.
Yeah, it's proven.
And he paid his dues too, and now look where he's at.
A couple times over.
Yeah, with Haas now, he's got himself a decent ride now.
All right, Evan. Well, listen, we're going to keep an eye on you and see how you're doing. We know, big things are coming for you this year and years to come. You're a well-spoken kid. I always enjoyed talking to you and your cousin when you're out at Bethel, and I'm proud of you because you're doing a hell of a job. So keep it up, and we'll see you at the race at some point this year.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for letting me come on the show and just do this interview. It's get me more exposure. What you guys are doing here is just great for local track racers and talking about racing. Thank you.
Well.
All right, Evan. Evan Rygielski, who definitely made a name for himself at the World Series this year. And I can officially say he is a modified driver, whether he likes it or not. But watch him with that fender stuff too. Evan, we'll catch you soon, all right?
See ya. Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks.
Partner, that kid's going to go places.
Yeah.
Him and his cousin.
He's very, he's definitely the kind of kid you want. He's well spoken. He definitely gets it, and he knows what he wants to do. Man, it's awesome to see at 15 years old, and to be as talented as he is.
Oh yeah, the kid can wheel a race car. There's no doubt about it. And listen, it takes a bad rap every now and then for different reasons, but Bethel Motor Speedway has pumped out a lot of good talent that has gone on to the big stages. You mentioned Christian Eckes. He raced at Bethel last year, 2 years ago, in a legend car. You see young kids like Caden Rogers, young man from state, who do great things. John Veldy, the kid, who's a whiz kid at fabricating and building his own race car. And I think he's like 14, 15, 16 years old. Give Bethel a shot. Race fans, I know that I could talk for a lot of hours about things, but we'll just say there's a lot of talent that happens there. Anthony Bella, who's now a rookie on the NASCAR Modified Tour, started and ran there. A lot of great young kids, and I think that's the best thing about Bethel is you can see a lot of these young kids like the Rygielski cousins cut their teeth, get a lot of experience, run some pretty big events, and go to the next level, whatever that level might be for them. So awesome stuff.
And that's what's cool about Bethel. The big car stuff catches a lot of flack, but they do a lot for the small car stuff, like the Legends and the Bandoleros and stuff like that, which, that's great right there, man. That gives these kids a place to race, and like you said, Evergreen. There's a lot of places that run them, but locally, that's it. There's nowhere else that runs that kind of stuff.
No, it's true. The Bandoleros or something, you see guys, Joey Logano, David Reagan, those names that have gone on to have a great NASCAR career. They started in that, and Bethel's kind of a great home for it. They run I know the schedule just came out, and I breezed through the schedule. I couldn't even read the schedule, as Kyle Welch knows, as I was texting him back and forth about different race dates. But whenever Legend Stock is, go check it out, because that's always a big deal. They got teams from all over the country. I remember a guy coming down from Canada, if I can remember correctly, to come and race in that deal.
Right.
And guys from North Carolina and New Jersey and everywhere. That's an awesome race to go check out with the Legend cars. Like I said, the Legends are big at Charlotte, and you get those guys, those big back teams that come up and run in it. And it's always a good show. So check it out. Go support your local racetrack.
Yep.
We're going to talk a little bit about, dare I say, bitching and racing. Well, that's true. Listen, Christian Eckes showed up.
Christian Eckes, yeah. We actually had him on the show talking to him last year, and we talked about that, him going back. It's local to him.
Hey, listen, Christian almost won Daytona.
Back there. Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
that leads to a segue of something I kind of want to talk about. And Street Stock guys, I hope you're out. We're going to talk about the Crane Golf Street Stock Shootout Series presented by Turtle Golf Course here in a second. But something came about down in Florida, partner, and it kind of got me thinking and kind of made my final decision on some things of David Shilling won a short track Super Series race down Lakeview or whatever track it was, right? That car has connection to the promoter, Brett Deo, and the visceral comments that I saw that are winning. Like, listen, I know there's been whining and complaining about promoters' car. Trust me, I lived through it. But to see what it was and what it became, I'm almost sad of where the sport is going, honestly. And it's a big, big statement, but it's something that a guy works his ass off. And, we've gotten to know David Shilling. David's going to come on the show. We've already talked to him to come on here in a couple weeks. And I'd love to bring this up with him. The kid works his ass off. They finally get this motor combination down. Anybody that's watching us right now knows the deal, that you fall on the setup right, you're going to be a dominant car. And it just so happened to be what happened. And just just tearing this down.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe just in my old age, I'm the get off my lawn guy now, but it's just, it was like something like what I've never seen before, honestly. And it's sad to see.
Yeah, it is bad because, Dave, as like you said, worked his ass off back when he was racing in the sportsman division. You know what I mean? I've seen this guy wind up on his lid, wrecked out. Me personally, I love to see Dave succeed like that, man, because he's been working his ass off to get where he is. And so what? He's driving a promoter's car. A lot of guys, I have my feelings on that, kind of. Maybe he shouldn't be in that series. Maybe he should take that to the dirt car series or something. But then again, that motor's not compatible with that. I don't know. You look at it in many different aspects of it, but either way, I like to see him succeed. He's a good guy too.
There's a lot of ways to slice the cake, right? And like I said, I lived it. I went through it. I promoted the Bethel Motor Speedway for a little while, and raced at the same time. Obviously, I got almost DQ'd one night. Obviously, I had no thing to manipulate finishes or whatnot. And listen, I get it too, where you feel like a car has an unfair advantage for a particular reason because of connections with promoters and stuff. I understand all of it. Trust me. that wasn't the case with us. You know, it was, if I saw David Schilling winning, going on Matt Shepard like he's standing still, and taking all the money and winning all the races in stuff that Brett owns, which he doesn't even own the car. He owns the motor, which they're developing the motor to try to make racing better. I could get it. But for the kid to get his first, and a kid, I think he's just a little younger than I am.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've been feeling very old lately. But to see him, go through all he's gone through, and then gets his win finally, does an awesome job, first career win, should be like biggest thing celebrated, and then you turn on the old Twitter machine and see all just the visceral comments from people that have probably never sat in a race car, and I bet if they did, would wet their pants as soon as they start the car up. That is almost uncalled for.
Yeah, right. And if you followed Schilling, past few years, he's been there. He's been running very well.
He has been.
You know what I mean? It's not like this is just an overnight thing. Like David just didn't show up and dominate. I mean, this guy has paid his dues, and he's been running with the best of them week in and week out. So to me, it's not surprising. Surprising that of crappy talk, but
you're running Utica Rome. You're running a short track Super Series with the best of the best. You're running a Fonda, running with best of the best. You're gonna get better.
Oh, yeah.
And when you finally hit on it, you get everybody saying how he was cheating and the tire samples and this. Listen, Scott Bloomquist. And I'm not saying Scott Bloomquist cheated ever in his life, because I don't know that for a fact. But you're telling me the rules weren't stretched for a driver like Scott Bloomquist? Or dare I say, I've raced against cars that I feel got an unfair advantage at certain tracks because the promoter, the owner, the this, the that. And listen, and I'm not just saying Bethel either. Before anybody starts saying I'm jumping down in one car, I've been in this game a long time to where it's happened everywhere. All right. So it's the sad part of where the sport is going, at least my opinion. Right. And I thought about this today because, preparing for breaking news, what's going to be my last season in racing, that Penske Shocks, I'm going to drive the 600 modified a little bit with Doug Borger, that I thought about Roger Penske. He owns IndyCar. His cars race in IndyCar. They still go through all the tech, all the this, all the that. You don't, at least that I've seen, and I actually did a little bit of research before the show started, you don't see everybody, well, the Penske cars get an unfair advantage. Well, the Penske cars are built differently because Roger owns the series. Roger Penske has moved IndyCar forward.
Oh, yeah.
So much in the handful of years that he's owned it. And that's what people look at. Deo has moved dirt modified racing light years ahead. And a car he has some association with finally wins. One of the guys finally win. Yeah. And you see, and I'm not lumping everybody in, but I'll tell you, the majority were slanted towards, well, he cheated.
Yeah.
And listen, the FCC can find me. That's bullshit. It's
but
it was frustrating.
But if anybody knows anything about the Deo series, what is there? It's pretty much open motor rule. I mean, what you know what I mean? What are you cheating with? The motor combinations are just astronomical. I mean, you could run anything you want to run. So,
yeah.
At what point? What is it that is cheating?
Well, and that's what I tried to kind of decipher a lot of things too. A lot of guys said motor. A lot of guys said, he got a special weight brake. Saw a lot of guys with tires. So much so that Brett had to go on Ariato and kind of defend himself and now do tire testing. Well, you know what? Tire testing costs money.
Mm-hmm.
Brett pays the best purses, I think, in dirt modified racing Well, guess what, guys? If they're going to start doing this tire testing stuff, guess what's going to happen? Money's got to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
It is what it is. It was disheartening.
Listen,
it was a topic.
The way I look at it is his Wi-Fi was working better than Shepard's for the traction control. I don't know. That's the only thing. Because I mean, he had wicked drive off. You know, traction control was on point that night. And
I guess so.
But listen, hey, Shepard. His traction control must have been off all week because he struggled in Florida.
He didn't do, do much anything.
He might want to take that version back to Davis Technologies and return it for a new one.
Well, listen, partner, let's change the subject to happier, and we'll say kind of, I guess, bittersweet type stuff. Is Crane Golf Street Stock Super Series presented by Turtle Creek Golf Course is back at the Orange County Fair Speedway. Took a couple years off. I was really excited that the staff at Orange County Fair Speedway is allowing this to come back. We did it a handful of years and had, and I'll say like the who's who of Orange County Fair Speedway street stock drivers win championships. Mike Vigiletti, Emerson Cargain Sr., those guys did such an awesome job with it. To come back and do it again, I'm very grateful for, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it because I want to go out with a bang. It's kind of the first time I'm telling everybody out loud that this is my last year. Decided that I'm going to walk away from racing. I'm not going to use the R word. Because one, you never know. Yep. And two, there's no doubt I might jump into something every now and then, but it's just time to, and not like anybody cares honestly anyway, but it's just time for me to go do something else. And we're going to kind of use this year to do a lot of cool things one more time. And the Crane Golf Street Stock Shootout Series is kind of that thing to do, and you are so gracious and crazy enough to let me jump in your race car and actually compete in it. Because the one thing I've never done, I've gotten to do a lot of cool things in racing. The one thing I've never gotten to do yet is race a street stock in Orange County, and that has been such a big thing. That means a lot to my family because that's really where where I remember growing up racing as a kid. And we've run, I've run races there, just I've never run a street stock. So to run this event is going to be a lot of fun. And all the racing we're doing, we're going to do the 600 modified. I'm going to race out at Stafford a little bit and race out at Oxford Speedway a couple times. But to come to Middletown and to run that is pretty special for what's probably going to be my last year, at least full time, we'll say, definitely, but probably my last year racing. We're still trying to plan stuff with the dirt modified too, but excited about it. So listen, I don't want to make it about me. We're talking about the series, and the series, if anybody remembers, those street stock guys remember, it's going to be like a little bonus series. So we're going to run 4 races. The schedule's out. I don't remember it off the top of my head. But I know it culminates with the Marquis Travers Memorial in August there, to where we just kind of keep separate points, and the top 4 in points are going to get paid out. The champion's going to get $200. I think it's 200, 100, 50, 50 for the top 4. Which, listen, it's just a couple extra bucks for the guys. That's kind of what we started it for with the street stock guys, just to kind of give them a little bit of extra stuff, and it turned into something pretty cool. So again, thrilled that it's back. Thank you, Doug, and everybody at Orange County for allowing it to happen. Excited for all the street stock guys, 1, to mix it up with them, and 2, for them to kind of be able to race for a little bit more. And we're going to have a lot of fun with them for sure.
I hope you don't win none, so I don't want to say the promoter's cheating.
Well, listen, that's it's up to you there, partner. I hope
yeah, put it on me. Go ahead.
I hope the package from Davis Technologies showed up by the time we get to April.
It'll be here by then.
All right, good. So that's it. I told the Street Stock guys, everybody was asking. I was figuring I'd just tell everybody in one shot. It's same as what we've done in the past couple of years. Just kind of designate a couple races. Still, track points count the same. It's not like it doesn't matter one way or the other, or track point wise. You still race for your track points for the races, and we just kind of keep separate points for those four, and whoever's high point man or woman, because there is a young lady that races street stocks there too. Just going to get an extra envelope, to, pay for some beer or whatever, more margaritas or something.
Yeah. Too bad it don't fall on National Margarita Day, right?
Listen, any day could be National Margarita Day if you try hard enough.
Do we got a Cinco de Mayo race or anything? I mean, what do we got?
No, no. It's a Friday, so guys at Accord, I think that's Accord's opening day, actually. But myself, selfish plug, we're going to do a Cinco de Mayo tournament at Turtle Creek Golf Course. So anybody wants to come out and play some golf, and Street Stock guys, please come out and support. I mean, again, another shameless plug, but come out. You don't even have to be a golfer. Come out to dinner. We do great dinners here, and come out, play around a golf, hit a bucket of golf balls. And I say that for all sponsors. If you can support anybody that supports racing, get out there and do it. Ours is kind of fun where you come, whack some golf balls or come have a nice dinner. We might even have Snoop be the guest bartender. You never know, which I should get hazard pay, honestly, for when he is. I'll tell a story off the air about the Super Bowl, which I don't remember much of. So, but that's a whole nother story for another day.
Yeah, buddy. Another story.
Jen's yelling at me to tell. Listen, I can't tell the story because I don't remember it. So
that's always a good thing.
I remember lying in bed and just rolling over and asking Jen who won because I don't remember anything after halftime.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you what, I had a magic glass though, because anytime I turned around, my glass was full. I don't know how it happened, but it's just what happened. And Snoop was the bartender, so it happens.
Oh man.
So listen, moral of the story: come out to Turtle Creek Golf Course, get some dinner, get some golf balls, play around a golf. Hell, take a lesson. I don't care. I need support too.
Yeah.
Real quick, while we have a moment before we wrap up the show, partner, do want to send thoughts, prayers, condolences to the family of Walt Henry. Walt and Alicia and little Walt there. Walt's mom passed away. Just want to, throw out there, we're thinking of the hurricane. I haven't seen those guys in a little while since my situation's changed. But thinking of them, all our love and thoughts out to them. And, that's all we can really say about that we're thinking about you, Walt and Alicia and little Walt and even Tyler too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
All right, partner. Well, since it's National Margarita Day,
you got one on hand.
Even better, I got tacos.
So are they shrimp tacos?
They are shrimp tacos with some rice. I have my water in my Virginia Tech Hokies glass. Shout out to Taylor.
So you're drinking water.
I'm drinking water, yes.
Come on.
It's dirty water, but it's water. So, partner, this is going to be the time we're going to wrap up the show because I got to go eat.
That's it, man. See you next week.
It was a great show. We'll see everybody next week. Check out the website. We got a couple guests lined up. We're just doing all the logistical stuff. But another great show on tap. And happy National Margarita Day, everybody.
Enjoy your tacos.